But on the topic that we were talking about just a few minutes ago about sort of paying for play, it's like I don't. When it comes to a door deal, and that if there's a prearranged fee that's involved in like paying for the production, it's either the band loses out or the venue loses out. And I can't understand why there's a difference between the two businesses, because that's what they are. And that's from me as I'm not a musician, but that is literally what they are. They're both two businesses, and they agreed on something beforehand, and it's happened that the band couldn't bring enough people, as many people as they thought they could. And now they've got this fee, but that's a whole different matter from a venue actually treating a band with respect and actually giving them the time.
If you guys think that any venue in the world or any booker in the world likes calling bands up on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday and saying, "Hey, I'm really sorry, I love the show, but you guys owe us like $100 because you didn't pull," you're wrong. It sucks. We hate it. So, but it's just got to happen because venues can't get by on good vibes or fun times, as important as they are.
It's hard. I mean, agents also have to kind of balance this idea of like an act being... the relationship that an act has with its popularity to some degree is working on a set of values that I at least am no longer necessarily completely part of. Like I'm 35, you know what I mean? I'm not 20, so I'm not just like, hey, it's uni bar night, let's go drink until I sleep with a transsexual this evening, for example, for the second time. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that'll happen, but it's more rare now. But you have to know what's going to work for that audience, because that audience wants to...
Sometimes, we look after acts that are maybe a little bit more established. Sometimes by the time they get an agent, they might have a song or two that's played on Triple J. We're like, all right, let's go put them in GoodGod or Newtown Social Club, or, in Melbourne, maybe like, Ding Dong Lounge or Northcote Social Club, and you get a whole bunch of promo around it, and the bands do the Facebook and everything that we've all asked for, and then we still owe GoodGod money. Like, it does happen where it doesn't, even if you do all of this stuff, it doesn't always work out that you're worth 300 payers or,
We don't need to name names, but why?
I wish I knew.
Okay. I think some of these people might want to avoid
sometimes,
that.
like, songs connect with people and sometimes they don't. Yeah. Like, I had a band recently where, like, they had a song on Triple J. It was, like, most played over about a month. It was in the top 20 most played. But everyone that I kind of spoke to in the industry or friends were like, oh, I thought that was an international artist, or they didn't know that band was that band. And so, like... I think it's everyone's job in the team, like whether it's label, publicist, manager, agent, to connect like the fan with that song and with the band, and then sell tickets, and that doesn't always happen straight away. Yeah, exactly.
Now they have social media. It's
absolutely.
To have that ongoing
but
conversation.
It's kind of, I think it's worth saying to young artists that sometimes it doesn't matter if you've got this whole team around you. It's the young bands playing at World Bar that might bring like 200, 300 payers that don't have any of that are doing the business. So, there's not like one way to go about it at all.
At World Bar, we probably get more of the latter, bands that haven't had Triple J airplay. But just because you've been played on Triple J doesn't make you automatically better than bands that haven't. Sometimes, we got a band maybe like a month ago called the Cherry Dolls, who came up from Melbourne, and they've never been played on Triple J, but it was the most packed I've seen it in like a year.
Do you know about whether or not they're getting community radio play, or whether
they're getting a little bit, nothing like remarkable.
So why do you think that worked for them?
They've worked hard. The songs are good. It's a cool live show. Like yeah, they've got a rep. It's a little bit like Black Lipsy in that it's pretty loose, and like the singer got his dick out and stuff. So that helps, guys.
We'll be fighting over.
Think about it.
Certain values continue to work. Red Rattler found itself on the front page of The Australian this week by saying they wouldn't book a show in that was concerned the Holocaust because they didn't agree with the situation in Israel, and it was a big fucking deal. I don't know whether anyone noticed that, but it was like a big deal. And I'm just asking you guys if it's an agent or a venue manager's kind of purview to determine who plays there based on their moral or ethical perspective about what that show might be like, and what's too far for a show. Like, we've talked about great live shows, but what do you like? I mean, coming from a band who did a residency that lasted a year that was pretty not violent, but like grotty at times. How far are you allowed to go? I know how far I'm allowed to go because I now have a Section 32 and a Section 10 determining exactly how far. And it's actually not past here that much.
It's not a joke as well.
It's not a fucking joke. But yeah, like what's good and what's illegal, what's inappropriate.
Well, it always comes down to the venue manager. I mean, unless the venue manager is the booker of that venue. I mean, it's their business, so it would be the onus would be on them to make that decision. But there has been some. I'm just going to figure out how I should put this. Comedy shows that I've seen that have toured around the country.
Musical comedy or straight stand-up sort of stuff?
Musical kind of comedy that had some content that I didn't necessarily agree with because it was kind of sexist or something like that. And I would maybe suggest that I would say, like, this is how I feel about it. And generally, if I'm working with a venue or a company that I like, then they would agree with me.
And if you kind of get in early enough and you've done your research, like the Opera House did with that guy who was trying to do the speed dating thing that was like really
exactly. Yeah.
Like they booted him early, you know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you would just do that.
So it's kind of like okay to.
I mean, even though you know that, because you could see that this person is going to sell it out no matter what. I don't like. It's once again up to the venue, the person who actually owns the place. But if it was me, I would have some, moral opinions on that.
Yeah, wasn't there that support band a couple of years ago that, they did some nangs on stage. But then
Whippets. Bulbs.
They were called Teenage Mothers and they supported M83. And, they were playing at the Metro, Midnight City. You just sort of crossed through, it was big. Oh, did you guys used to book for them?
No, we know. Dealt with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ended up doing nangs on stage at this M83 show. And okay,
That's what they're called.
they're the things that you put when you make whipped cream, and you put it in a dispenser and you suck it up, and it makes you giggle for like 20
I think
seconds.
he punched someone, or he got violent
and he also
somewhere
offered to sell the singer from M83 pot.
Oh, that's all right. Isn't it?
And the singer, no, but the singer from M83 is like straight edge. My point is that, sometimes you just got to realise who you're supporting. And you should know. It should be you guys as bands and everyone in a band to realise what is too far before a venue does it.
In terms of, I guess one reads a lot of blogs on, what to push on what forums, social media and YouTube and things. And I wanted to ask, having seen a lot of bands and different artists rise up the chain, whether there were any patterns of what they'd focused on.
In terms of like blogs that artists have been written on that I check to see?
In terms of blogs that, give 10 essential, things of what to, how to make a very successful YouTube channel, all these sort of things.
I work at FBI, so I often check the playlist ads at FBI because that's really useful in terms of finding new music. Triple J Unearthed is really fantastic for that sort of stuff as well. And you don't have to be played on Triple J Unearthed. It's pretty easy to get lost in there. Usual stuff like Bandcamp, SoundCloud. There's some... JPlay is good. There are some other blogs coming up. A dude called Ryan Saar.
Soundly Sounds?
Yeah, Soundly Sounds.
Yeah.
Does...
Soundly Sounds.
His website is ryansaar, SAAR.com.
Yeah.
And it's just pretty much exclusively about Sydney and Australian garage music.
But really, he's really dedicated to, just emerging acts, which is good for
And it's cool to see a blog where he's writing about shit that doesn't get written about anywhere else.
And he takes it seriously. Like, he actually really is committed to going and watching
he's
new
as
bands.
enthusiastic as fuck. He goes to like 5 shows a week. Just dedication. That's what I look for in a blog, I guess.
No, I think I meant to ask whether between all the bands you'd seen rise up, whether there were common links between the ways in which they'd promoted themselves. So, and what forums they'd focused on, YouTube, Twitter, how they'd managed to do all that and how they'd balanced
it. There is no one big step that they can take. It's about so many different little steps. And that's actually, as an artist manager with my artist manager hat on, that's actually a really difficult thing to address every single day of work, is that I don't know if saying yes to this blog or saying yes to this show or doing this and that, whether that's all going to contribute to a larger picture that is something that we don't want. Like, you're trying to control it with all of these little decisions. So there's never one path that you can take especially online, especially with getting blogs and attraction like that, to get the certain image that you want for that band.
What about, I was just going to talk about DZ Death Rays, when they were called DZ when they did the Jaeger video.
DZ then, yeah.
It's just content that actually will get traction on any format, from YouTube. If it's unique, it might get viral. Twitter posts, maybe someone, Kanye West might pick up on and share it. Instagram, you might put up a pic about the band and someone might share it, or it's just it's all at people's, social media is there for any artist. It creates the vibe of what they're trying to portray as a parallel to the music.
Is it appropriate for me to say Blue Juice wasn't a successful band until Vitriol happened, which was a while in, but the reason why that song worked was because it was getting smashed on radio.
And the video was amazing.
Exactly.
It was unique.
Well, it wasn't. It was like $2,000, so amazing's a bit of a stretch, but it worked. Yes.
Yeah, but it worked.
Yeah.
It worked with the song.
Exactly, and it had a thing, and then when we started to get interviewed, we were able to do media. Most bands are they're like, so your song's about this, and then the band's like, no. And then everyone's like...
But then you got arrested.
My heart.
Did you get arrested?
Yeah, exactly.
At the Metro? So that was another thing.
It was actually in my mind, it's like a triangle.
Policeman.
Yeah, there's like a triangle of things that happen. It's like, you're on the radio, someone saw your video clip which made them laugh or had some kind of effect, or you were nude in it, or something happened that was funny or good or sad or something, whatever. And then
you kissed.
And then you did something in public.
You kissed an elderly woman.
Yeah, or had a relationship with some with your fans in a way that was well expressed.
From like a Facebook perspective, it's boring if you just write, good evening, we are playing at this establishment at 7 p.m. tickets are $10. But it's also boring if you're like, your brozzy boys are playing a show down at the club and shit like that. You've got to find a way.
Yeah, it has to be creative content. Yeah. I don't know if anyone saw it, but we look after a band called Gang of Youth, and they did a version last week. And one of the guys from the band got stuck between a gate and a building, a door. It was about this much space. It was tiny. And someone started filming it. And they were kind of posting it on social media that night going, Chochi's going to get stuck in here, and if he doesn't get out, we're not going to be able to do a version tomorrow morning. And there was police and rescue people there, and he was just kind of standing there stuck between this gate, and still have no idea how it happened. But that generated heaps of interest about their version.
He's just there and everyone's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's really weird. So there you go, just get stuck in a door.
Stuck indoors.
I would love to chat to you because you had your hand up first. There's time, we will get to you, so don't worry, everything's going to be okay.
Hi. How does an artist know which resources to access to find out which emails to send to try to book themselves? Would they approach the venues and see who's booking the venues, if they find an appropriate venue that would suit them? What's the best course of action practically?
Well, that's a good point, because at GoodGod we do get a lot of emails to gigs at GoodGod, and then people say, hello there, I'm looking for a show, blah, blah, blah. And I do read those emails, but sometimes it takes 2 weeks to get to them because they're not the priority for me, because I know that, because I have established relationships, and we know that people that know me and hit me up directly, I know what kind of acts they have. So
you mean agents?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, not just agents, but
managers.
Managers and music people in general. Yeah. But I guess it just comes down to research, and I don't know if I haven't looked yet if my personal email, Maggie at goodgod.com, is listed somewhere. But maybe the smartest thing you can ever do is try and get an introduction to whatever contact it is that you're trying to reach. That's not just for shows, but it's for anything. So, sometimes the best way to go about it is to see something that you want and see if you have any friends or any connection to that thing, especially if you don't have any connection to it yet, and say, hey mate, I know you played a show there, who did you talk to, who's the best person to hit up, can you give me an intro or something like that.
I'm going to tell a story about Jody, which is a band that you're in. The first time I knew about that band was my daughter's teacher told me about Jody. And then you started to talk about Jody, and then it's kind of like, who's this Jody band? I'm kind of like from my daughter,
Yeah.
So that's a weird kind of connection that kind of happened. But you've been working well through working at
We played one
FBI.
show with Select. Well, we played one tour with Select, and then, you know, Select doesn't book for us or anything. We don't have a booker, but you do well in one show, they're naturally going to offer you some more. We've done stuff for Artist Voice and stuff.
But Dom is making this seem like he's had good shows and that's it. But Dom really spends all of his time hustling. All of it, it's like it is incessant. When we were going to get Jody for the support, he had to get through my manager, who doesn't even book the bands I want on the tour. Like, I'll be like, I want Jody, and he'll be like, that's nice. And then like 5 weeks later, maybe that happens, right? But Dom would be like calling every week, like texting me, hey, we're going to do the support. You said we could do the support. So like it pays to hustle. You know,
be an annoying little shit.
You have to. No one cares if you don't do it all the time. But it is a fine line. It's just that if you're entertaining enough and people like you and you bother them, they will get back to you. If you're just annoying and the thing that you're representing isn't probably very good, you're just annoying. It's hard. It's a kind of an industry in that respect.
I guess it's a bit of a follow-on from that question, which is that beyond having some good tunes, what's the best thing a band can do when they approach you for a gig, and what's the worst thing they can do?
I'll start with the worst, I reckon. Do not send blanket emails, and if you do, which you shouldn't, BCC everyone. That's probably the quickest way to my email trash, is if you just get one of those emails saying, hey, whoever, hey, all, and there's 30 people include in the email, we're looking for a gig so we can get some exposure and blah blah and whatever. Don't do that.
When people send an email and they've obviously copied pasted, you know, which is fine because you've got to do that, and they call me Chris or something, I'm like, I'm not going to respond to that.
Yeah.
So make sure you look at who you're addressing, look at what they do. A lot of people email me and say, I want a gig at GoodGod, or what, you know, that I'm just choosing that as a venue, but they haven't researched what I do. So, you know, research the person that you're emailing before you contact them.
Like what kind of bands are actually appropriate for the venue itself as well.
Yeah. So like do a bit of research, I guess, about the venue, the bands, the type of bands they have, the type of people that go there.
Yeah, would you say just go there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Be out there,
go and have a beer and like just chat to someone, and they'll probably point in the right direction or whatever. But yeah, also just keep your emails really brief and just straight to the point. Not like
and always
the
include
big
like a link
essays.
to your Facebook page or SoundCloud. There's nothing worse than a great email from a band but they've not included anything, because half the time, like, we don't have time to Google you. So, you know, it's always good just to have everything really succinct. It doesn't need to be an essay, but saying maybe like where you've played in the past, you know, what you want to do in the future, if you've got any releases, if you've got anything coming up. Yeah, I guess that's probably more from artists emailing that want agents, but, you know, letting people know if you've got any other shows coming up. So maybe an artist has played at Brighton Up and they want to move to GoodGod, they want to increase the next show, and so saying to Maggie, hey, I'm playing at Brighton Up next week, I want to play GoodGod in 3 months, can you come and check me out and let me know if you think I'm suitable?
Is there too much hassling? As it, like, I spend a lot of time chasing up people. What is too much? You know,
more than an email a day.
Yeah. I think if you do the first one, I guess, and it's kind of like there isn't a response of some kind of level.
Wait a week, maybe?
Well, maybe you need it to follow up again. It might have to be backed with, hey, we actually sold out Brighton Up Bar. Yeah. Hey, we sold out GoodGod. And it's kind of like, oh, hello, this is good. You bring people to a venue.
And if they're still
I
not
like this band.
Don't get angry by like a third or fourth email and start using caps and act like it is your God-given right to be responded to.
It's been awesome. We've got to pack up because these guys are going to do their thing, and we'd like them to be able to do their thing with you for 5 minutes before this place has to do its thing. Don't forget free bowling. Stick around for a couple of seconds, but before you do, please, you can bowl. Give the panel a round of applause that they so richly deserve. And thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. Thanks to Sydney TAFE for shooting and helping us with all of that stuff. And if you want any more information about Us or our partners like Arts Law, please go on the website. There's a lot of free and really helpful stuff there for you. You just have to go check it out. 20% off flights. Amazing.